Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Miss Eileen, aka Grammy, for those who know what that's about. How are you today? I am so glad that you're able to join me. Today, I want to get us caught up on all the digital media news, and we're going to talk about some of your favorite social media and digital media platforms. And I do want to say thank you so much for subscribing. Damien, thank you so much for subscribing here. And with YouTube, they have this wonderful thing called super chats. And I know a lot of you have given super chats in the past, and you've given me super chats. But today, I'm asking a special favor instead, and that is to buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com/Eileen. So check out Buy Me a Coffee. Also, if you are someone who wants to have a way for your followers, your subscribers to support you, even if you have a podcast and you may want your listeners to subscribe to your podcast and also to show support for all the valuable content that you offer, then I highly recommend you check out Buy Me a Coffee. So there you go. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Before we start getting into the nitty gritty of today's broadcast, because although I love YouTube, and I'm sure you do as well, one of the things about YouTube, when you give someone a super chat, it takes a while for them to actually get the money in their bank account. But when you buy someone a coffee or you use Buy Me a Coffee, it goes right in their PayPal. Okay? So that's one reason for using Buy Me a Coffee. And also, YouTube takes much bigger cut than what Buy Me a Coffee takes. So there you have that. And so it's so great to see back to the basics here. Thanks. Thank you so much. And thank you for the thumbs up and for coming to the stream today. All right, let's start talking about our and get updated with our digital media apps and things. Okay, hang on. And let me get my ducks in a row here. And speaking of apps, and you know what? I'm going to go over to my community page over on YouTube because I posted this over on my community page. And let's see what the quickest way for me to get to that community page. Actually, in a YouTube studio, they should give me a quick link to get in there because HAPS is a platform for live streaming, and they have announced a new program offering that I want to tell you about. And it's a way that we all can get paid. But you got to stream. You got to be a streamer. And if you're not familiar with HAPS, let me back up because I want to let you know if you're not familiar with HAPS, HAPS is a live streaming platform where you can go live from desktop, you can go live on your Android phone or your iPhone, and they have amazing community over there as well. So that when you go live, you can multi stream to all of your socials, but you also have that community there as well to get to know and to also to watch your broadcast. So let's see if I can screen share for you to show you what the latest little thing that they have going on, and then I'll tell you about it. So here we go. Let me make this a little bit bigger and make it so you're only going to see the HAPS. All right, sign up. I'm sorry. Earn $25. Earn $25. Start broadcasting on HAPS. That's HAPPS. Oh, and Back to Basics says she loves HAPS. I'm so glad you've already explored it. Okay, well, they had the special program that they offered to, I'm not sure how many users they offered this program to, but I'm going to make this bigger and make sure you guys can see it. But here's the deal. Oh, Donna just being real. Hello, hello. Is here, and also so is my buddy Sammy Superstar. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so here's the deal with this HAPS announcement. You sign up with my invite link, which is eileen.link/HAPS. I'll type that in the chat. Go live for 4 consecutive weeks and multi-stream to at least one platform. So they have Facebook, that includes your profile, your pages, your groups, and they also have now an integration with Twitch. They have direct integration with Twitch. So, you can also stream to Periscope, but we all know that that's going away. But just so you know, you stream to HAPS, which there's an audience there on HAPS, and then one of those social profiles. And I forgot to mention YouTube. You can stream to YouTube as well. And then you go live before March the 1st to enter. And if you complete all these tasks, which is go live for 4 consecutive weeks, but you have to use my link. All right, I am going to type that link in the chat just to make sure that you guys use the right link. And this is also posted over on my community tab as well. So let me come back on cam and say a few more hellos, hellos, hellos. So we have Tech for Your Needs and name Lewis. And Back to Basics is so kind. She's just saying greetings to everybody who shows up. There is a greeting from Back to the Basics. All right, so that's the deal with HAPS. So a lot of times you hear me say my digital media news and HAPS. That's because of HAPS. And I have also signed up for their HAPS challenge. So if you didn't sign up already, then you can't qualify for it, but it's really fun to be able to multi-stream to using HAPS. And like I said, they also have that mobile app and it's free. It's a free platform. They have not charged anyone at all. And Sammy Superstar said, I used your link when I followed on HAPS. Okay, great. Wonderful. And what is HAPS? Is it like YouTube or is it a streaming app like OBS or Streamlabs? It is more like YouTube, since you asked it that way. But let me just try to explain it to you in my own way. It's like a place, it's a tool as well as a community. That's the best way to describe it. It's a live streaming tool, but there's also a community there. So you know what I'll do? I will screen share HAPS. I'm going to just go over there real quick so you can see what the app looks like. So I really love that you asked that question, Donna, just being real. I'm not sure if I put it up. Yeah, I did put it up, but I would put it up again. All right, so this is what the app looks like. So if I go over here, I see that there's 2 people that I follow that are live right now. Or maybe I don't even follow these people, but they're live right now. So they've got artists, they've got musical artists over there, and then there's someone here talking about cryptocurrency. And then you can see people that they were just live recently. So see how it says recent broadcast. I didn't mean to click. I clicked it too hard, and I didn't want to go into that broadcast, but I just wanted you to see here. And this is how you can see that you can invite guests into your broadcast as well. And so then these are some of the featured users that are on the platform that were recently live. And that's how they wound up being on the homepage. You see that, you can connect your Twitter and you can connect your YouTube. I'll go over to my profile now really quickly. And you see here that I have my Twitter, my Facebook, my YouTube, and then Periscope. Like I said, we know that's going away. But then Twitch and Instagram, even though you can't stream to Instagram, I don't want anybody getting any ideas. Y'all know y'all can't stream to Instagram. And then Chaos Rain says, Eileen Smith question. I don't know what that means, but if you have a question, just go ahead and ask it. Chaos Rain. Okay, so I think you will love Haps of Donna. And there is a lot of folks over there that I think you would connect with. It tends to be folks that are, like I said, they're doing art or they're doing just general conversation, maybe around a topic. And can you look up cooking recipes, how-to videos? It's not as search friendly as YouTube, not in that sense, but you can search to find a broadcaster and to find a topic, but you're not going to get those rich results like you would on, searching on YouTube. Okay, so just give it a try and you'll see. You'll I can't get on Clubhouse for some reason. How this Clubhouse thing work? Okay. Chaos Rain. First, I need to know, do you have an iPhone? Do you have an iPhone? And Donna's thanking me for sharing it. Yeah, I think you should sign up and you will see. I know for a fact that there's a woman there that does cooking shows that's really good. I don't say that you can actually look up recipes though. Okay, so now, I got it. Chaos says yes, he does have a an iPhone. All right, or she. I'm not sure if Chaos Rain is a she or a he. And Sammy Superstar says I should go live on Haps. Well, not right now. I want you to stay here right now. And I do also want to remind everyone about Buy Me a Coffee. Go ahead and buy me a coffee instead of uh, giving me a super chat here. This is just my request for today. I hate to make you guys jump through hoops. Oh, okay, good. I'm glad Sammy has cleared that up. He didn't mean that he was going to go live right now. He meant sometime soon. And you can have guests on your Haps broadcast. And it would be cool. You could use one of your old computers even if they still work with the internet. Really quickly, Sammy, because I know that you are like a pro level streamer, I'll let you know that they only have 720p. So don't try to go on there with your 1080p because I did that before and it was herky jerky. And that's wrong. And my friend Donna is reminding you all to hit that like button, tap that like button. Okay. So, yep, it only has 720p. And so I wanted to let you, because I know that, like I said, you are, somebody who uses a mirrorless camera and all that good stuff. So, and you want to know if you can use the Ecamm virtual cam. Well, obviously, you haven't watched any of my broadcasts over there. Of course, you can use the Ecamm virtual cam. I wouldn't, I probably wouldn't stream on Haps if I couldn't use my virtual cam on Ecamm. Okay, chaos. All right, so now we're going to get into chaoses. I don't know if I can diagnose your question, chaos, but maybe I can. Maybe it's a simple solution because Chaos Rain asked earlier about why couldn't they get on to Clubhouse. And Clubhouse is definitely one of our topics today. And that could be because you need an invitation. Not only do you need an iPhone, you also need an invitation. So somebody who's already on the inside of Clubhouse needs to have you in their address book. That's how they let folks in. So they need to have you in their contact list, I should say, not the address book, because your phone, not your address, your phone number. And just a quick hint, because I'm not sure if you're in the US or not, but make sure that the person also has the country code in addition to your phone number. Because I have 2 international friends. My one friend is in Scotland. How long invitations take on average? Well, hopefully you have a friend who's in there and you just tell them to send you an invite. And then that might take 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't, you know. And I'm not sure about your age, and I'm not going to ask you your age, but I will tell you that you're supposed to be 18 to use that. So if you're under 18, that might be why you haven't had any friends over there who sent you an invitation yet. Because there's not that many young folks on the app. And I mean, I know there's some that are over there, but you know, everybody can't be like an old soul like my other buddy. I'm not going to say his name because I'm not putting him on blast. He knows. Oh, you're in your 30s. Okay, well, great. Then, because this is my first time ever seeing you on one of my broadcasts, I really didn't know what to think. And so, you know, I think 30s is probably a large portion of the demographics over there are in that age group. So all you need now is a friend who can vouch for you and send you an invitation. What is Clubhouse? All right. If you don't have an iPhone, you can't be invited. Correct. Right now, Donna, the Clubhouse app is only available on iOS. Preferably, it works best with an iPhone. A few friends of mine have used it with their iPad. Okay? And Tech for Your Needs says, quick, once you get the invitation and you get 2 invites once you are a member. Yeah, and there's other ways to get more invitations. So, currently I have more invitations than I have people to give them to. And I don't know why. They just keep saying, "Oh, you've got more invites." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't use the ones you gave me last time." Because, most of my friends are already there cuz I hang out with the geeky crowd that is already, up to speed, knows what Clubhouse is and all that. So, how Clubhouse works, Donna, because I didn't answer your question, and that's important because that's one of our topics today. Clubhouse works on the invitation system, and it's about audio conversations. It's about audio conversations. I know Caleb from Ecamm has like 30, something crazy like that. Yeah, probably because he has a club, and I think they give folks who have clubs, they probably give them more invites. And, so what happens is, as a person who's on Clubhouse, you are able to start a room. And what that means is you pick a topic. Let's just say some of you guys know that I have a new grandson. He's like 6 months old now. He's getting big. So let's just say I wanted to start a room and talk to some other grandmothers, right? Or new grandmothers, I should say. Or grandmothers of toddlers. Let's say I call this room grandmother. He's not actually a toddler, but y'all know what I mean. Grandmother of toddlers. Okay. So we could swap stories about, what it's like, especially if your grandbaby is living in a different state, all that kind of stuff, right? So then people would be in their hallway, which is where there's like the list of all the rooms that are going on. And they would scroll through and they would say, oh, it's a grandmom's room. Let me go in there and listen to the conversation. They would come in, they would hear me talking, and let's just say a few people come in, 10, 15 people come in. Say one of those people is my friend or someone that I recognize, then I could invite them up to speak as well. Or maybe I'm just feeling like super, like I would just want to meet somebody who shares the same interest as me. I could just invite anybody. They could be a stranger. And I could just say, come on up and talk. And so then you would be on the stage, so to speak. Okay. And so then I could also really like we're really moving and grooving in this conversation now. I'm really digging your vibe, and I'm going to make you a moderator because when you start a room, you're a moderator because it's your room. And as others come in, or maybe you've invited a friend, to start the room with you as a co host, so to speak, and you could make them a moderator. So from there, it just uh, goes out to all their followers, the folks that have been following them, so that they see it when they're going through what they call the hallway, which is like a Twitter feed or a Facebook feed of all the stuff that's going on or all the stuff that the app surfaces for you because they got their algorithm too, right? And so there you go. And thanks for the congratulations on my little Joseph. Mhm. Excellent. First time. Invite the invite them to speak on stage. Yes, I think you left out the M. Yes, you can invite them to speak on stage. So that's how the app works. And as time has gone by, there have been celebrity sightings over there. Oh my goodness. I think we need to talk about some of those celebrity sightings right now. All right, so let's do that because I think this is one of the things that has made everyone really talk about the application so much. Oh, and Tech for Your Needs has added something that I neglected to mention. There's an icon that you can tap on to raise your hand, like to say, yes, I want to speak now. Now, it's up to the moderators if they let you speak or not. But you can raise your hand and say that you want to speak. And then, like I said, if you get in really good with them, they might just make you a moderator. Now, be careful who you make a moderator because any moderator can boot someone else out the room because they have to have those privacy because moderation tools in place. So because if somebody comes in there acting up, you give them the boot. But all moderators can give someone the boot. So if you invite somebody to be a moderator, somebody that you trust, okay, because they can kick you out your own room. Much like this is something similar happens on Facebook. When you start a Facebook group, you're an admin and you invite somebody else to be an admin, that person can kick you out the group of your own group that you started. So always be careful with who you uh, deem as a moderator. You give them that, like the Queen knights. I now will knight you, Sir Sammy Superstar. And so let it be written, so let it be done from the mouth of Miss Eileen. Okay, so let's see if I missed any of your questions here. Okay. I'm the same with me, giving me more invitations in Clubhouse. Yeah, yeah. They're just giving away so many right now. And I think because so many folks have rushed over there that have iOS that are inclined to talk, Because some folks, just like some folks, don't like to do live streaming because they don't like video. No, what's wrong with those people? Some people don't like video. Like, what? I have a friend who's like that. He loves to blog. He is a blogger. He will read a blog post before he'll watch a video. So we're friends, but we're not all that close. No, we friends though. Okay, so let's talk about the celebrity sightings over there. And one of them was, I have to scroll back in my notes, Elon Musk. Elon Musk. I'm not, I shouldn't really start with him because he wasn't the first one. The first celebrity that really, I won't say he broke Clubhouse, but he made them realize that Clubhouse was a hit because his room reached 5,000 capacity. Like they used to think, and this was the founder saying this today on their Clubhouse town hall. He said he remembers in the beginning when there would be like 200 people in the room. And they were like, oh my God, all those people in the room. And over time, that, it grew and grew. But when Kevin Hart came on Clubhouse, Kevin Hart, comedian, I got to give him a shout out because he's my homeboy from Philly. Yay, Kevin! And I've read his audiobooks. I never met him in person or anything, but when Kevin Hart, he was the first one who reached their maximum capacity of 5,000 on Clubhouse. And that's when they realized that actually, I think he got more than 5,000. And at that time, their servers were screaming. Like, I think he may have even broke the site. And they had to increase their capacity. But then they made a limit that rooms could only be 5,000. Okay, 5,000 was the max. And then, Tiffany Haddish, she came on there and she fills up a room really quickly. And so when Elon Musk came on, I do believe that. No, let me back up. The next time, because I wasn't using the app when Kevin Hart came on there and all that, and I don't know if he still pops in there or not, but that was something that happened back in the fall of 2020. And so let's fast forward after that. Something that was totally incredible that the founders never anticipated. It was totally community driven, that a bunch of users that were professional artists got together and did a performance of The Lion King. They somehow rehearsed this. These were people that had never known each other before Clubhouse. They just got together because they were holding these rooms for artists and actors, and they did a performance of The Lion King. It was 40 different performers, and then that was another time that the room got so full. In fact, I was one of the people that couldn't get in the room. I kept trying to get in the room because I had known that it was coming, and I couldn't get in until I was able to hear like maybe the last 2 minutes of the performance. So I was there. I just missed all the singing and and music and or whatever else they were doing. But the people were just, the audience, and even afterwards, I think they did after parties and recaps about it that went on for over 24 hours. It was amazing. Okay, so then, and there may have been a few other celebrities in between because I've heard that Oprah was there, but I never saw Oprah, and I never even searched to see if she's really on the app. But then I think the next person that came to my attention was recently, and that was Elon Musk. And they said, and this is from the Product Hunt blog. Oh, and I going to take a minute to say hello to my friend Beauty Bubble. Hey, hey, hey. And she says Joe Rogan reached 7,500. Now, see, that's the first time I heard that Joe Rogan was on there, because earlier Tech for Your Needs mentioned that Mr. Beast was on there. Yes, he was. Now, I never heard that Mr. Beast's room reached the max capacity, but then again, I wasn't really that interested in being in that room. So I don't know. I wasn't interested in being in Elon Musk's room either. But it was the Lion King was the one that I was disappointed about. I like that kind of stuff. That's just me. I know, a lot of people just like, oh, Elon Musk. Man, the man is loaded. He's loaded. That's all I can say. He's loaded. I don't know being in a room with him if any of those coins is going to come my way. So, other than that, he's just like a guy. That's just me. That's just me. But I'm not a starstruck kind of person anyway. So here's what they said on the Product Hunt blog. And I'm going to assume the Product Hunt folks were actually there as well. They did a cute little blog post where they have a GIF of him. They always do this. Let me minimize this and make sure I don't share the wrong thing. There's nothing I can do to make sure I don't share the wrong thing. But yeah, there's okay. Elon Musk said, "What?" And what actually happened. And they said he talked about Neuralink. Let me go back to my notes. Life on Mars. He talked about TV shows, Bitcoin, and in an unexpected twist, Musk asked for Vlad Tenev to become a speaker in the room and proceeded to interview the Robin Hood, a previous Golden Kitty winner, CEO, over the recent GameStop debacle. So those are other rabbit hole topics that we're not going to go down, but I just wanted to mention that Elon Musk was there. Then also Mark Zuckerberg. Now, I don't have a news story on that, but Mark Zuckerberg went over to Clubhouse as well. So but there's so many celebrities that, like movie folks, R&B or hip hop artists are over there quite often, especially like today is Sunday. So more than likely there'll be maybe a new, someone who's new to the app, and it'll be like welcome party for, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, it was welcome party for Timberland. And so Timberland was on there, and I clicked in for like 30 seconds, and I like Timberland. I really don't want to know what's on his mind though. But hey, I think it's wonderful. I love audio, and I would love to listen to podcasts. Okay, because this is the thing, because Donna doesn't know about Clubhouse, and neither does Chaos Rain. The thing about these conversations is that they are ephemeral. If you're not there at the time, you don't, that's it. You missed out. So that's why there's like no replay of the Elon Musk. Now, what some people do is, even though it's against terms of service, they go and they record. So somebody probably did record part of the Elon Musk conversation or part of the Mark Zuckerberg conversation, and they put it up on YouTube or wherever, or Reddit or whatever. But they're not supposed to. Okay. But there are people that will probably was like, I will give up my Clubhouse. They can kick me off, but I'm going to record this Elon Musk thing. I'm sure there's lots of people out there who have that on their mind. All right, let's see if I caught up on all the comments. Clubhouse has 9 employees. Yes, but they are definitely hiring And they might have more than 9 now, Tech for Your Needs, because last weekend, because every Sunday they do a town hall, much like our friends at StreamYard, but theirs is at 12 noon Eastern. They do a town hall, and last weekend they said that their Android developer was starting the next day. So the Android developer has been there since Monday. And I don't know why there's only one Android developer. It seems like to me you need more than one, but what do I know? I never coded an app. Sometimes I have problems updating my WordPress. So, hmm. Shout out to Ecamm Live, by the way. Shout out to Ecamm Live because this stream is powered by them. Okay, so let's see. What else do I want to say to you about Clubhouse? There are um there's some negative things about Clubhouse. There's some negative things. And so one of the things, even though they have it against the terms of service that you're not supposed to record unless you have permission from everyone who is speaking that you can record. Now, here's where I get a little confused because I'm a podcaster too, right? Even though I haven't put out an episode in ages, but I'm a podcaster. Actually, I'm recording a podcast right now. I'm just too lazy to edit it and put it up on Libsyn. But anybody wants to do that for free, let me know. Um, so, so a lot of my podcasting friends, especially those that have the right equipment, are recording their podcast on Clubhouse. They're making sure they put the word recording in the title. They're making sure that each person that comes to the mic and speaks has given their permission verbally. And I'll say, "Do I have your permission to record you?" And I just think to myself, like, just because you can do something doesn't really mean you should. But at the same time, I'm all for anybody creating content and being creative. So I'm not knocking anybody. I just, it's just one of those things that runs through my mind. And Tech for Your Needs says Clubhouse resemble the part line. I think you might mean something like party line, even though I've actually never heard of it. But part line just seems like there's a letter missing there. Is that an app, or are you talking about a party line? Oh, back in the day. Maybe you're talking about what used to happen when we had, okay, party line, I was right. What used to happen when we had rotary dial phones, or even if we had the kind that could push button. And before people had mobile devices, and you would be on the phone talking, and all of a sudden you would hear a voice in your conversation. You'd be like, "What? No, I'm talking to my sister. Who are you?" And it would be a total stranger, and they would be in your conversation, and we would say, "Oh, this is a party line." And I'm quite sure over the years that there's probably been romances started from those party lines, or or at least in-person parties may have happened. A good connection made from a bad connection, because you could just be talking, all of a sudden somebody being in the middle of your conversation. It didn't happen a lot, but it did happen. A bunch of people talking on phone, no video. Correct. There's no video. Except, like I was just talking about, some of my podcasting friends that are doing this, they are also live streaming video. And like, for example, I'll just I'll give you the example of my friend Dave Jackson from the School of Podcasting. He also has a podcast that he does every Saturday here on YouTube with his co host Jim Collison called Ask the Podcast Coach. And he has this fancy piece of equipment that's called a Rodecaster Pro. And he's able to have his co host, who's on his live stream, Jim Collison, can hear what's going on Clubhouse. So if someone comes on Clubhouse, because Dave will open up a Clubhouse room at the same time he starts his live stream. And if somebody on Clubhouse has a question to ask the podcast coach, because it's both of them, you get their the two guys that um, come from different aspects of podcasting. So, a lot of times they agree, sometimes they disagree. And it's great to get both of their opinion because they're both pros. And anyway, so he has it. So not only can Jim Collison hear the person that's in Clubhouse, because Jim is not on Clubhouse, he's not even listening to Clubhouse. Excuse me. But Dave Jackson has it routing through his speakers so that Jim can hear the person and the person can hear what Jim says as well. So high tech stuff. It's above my pay grade, so I don't. If I had a Rodecaster Pro, I think I would do it just as an experiment to do it, but I don't think I would do it regularly. And my girlfriends, the Biz Chicks, they do it, and I don't think they're using a Rodecaster Pro, but they have some kind of. I forgot to ask them how they're accomplishing that. Next month, I want to start a podcast. What you suggest I should start with first that is less complicated? Anchor. And you can go to my Anchor tutorials right here on YouTube. I do believe you go to eileen.link/Anchor tutorials, and that'll get you there. But I'll double check that. Yep. Yep, that gets you there. So let me just go ahead and put that link in the chat. And you know what? We're going to talk about podcasting for a minute. Just because it's in my notes already. And I hadn't mentioned that we were going to talk about it, but I'm going to do a little diversion because we're talking about audio. And after I give you these one or two news updates about podcasting, then we're going to go talk about Twitter Spaces because I think it's important to talk about Twitter Spaces. Okay, so, and we'll talk a little bit more about Clubhouse as well. So, a big acquisition happened in the podcasting space, and that is iHeartMedia is acquiring Triton Digital. And some of these companies may just kind of go over your head, but I'll just say that iHeartMedia is really the parent company of iHeartRadio. And I remember before iHeartMedia was a thing, that they were kind of like, podcasting's not as good as radio. And I guess all those guys retired that were saying that, guys and gals, I'm not sure. Because the new folks came in and realized that, yeah, podcasting is the bomb. So let's call ourselves iHeartMedia and buy up as many podcasting places as we can get our hands on. Because who knows, with radio, uh, money is moving, the advertising dollars is moving from radio over to podcasting. So we better get our foothold in there. So now with this next acquisition, that helped. Because now, let me tell you who iHeartMedia owns. And if you're at all interested in podcasting, let me give you the timestamp, it's 44 minutes. Let me write that down. iHeartMedia also owns sorry, I got to draw a little heart. iHeartMedia iHeartMedia also owns podcast host VoxNest and Spreaker. I've got tutorials on here about Spreaker. In fact, I think even VoxNest before they were acquired by iHeartMedia, but the interface is still the same. Podcast producer How Stuff Works. I know y'all heard about how stuff works before. Media Base and Media Monitors, which I still don't know what that is, and I didn't bother looking it up. Radio software company RCS, so they still got their hands in radio. And radio news website Inside Radio. So that's a place to keep up with the news for those of you who are still interested in radio. Because radio's not going away, but it's just a little bit of a migration of where the money is shifting. So when there's a big migration of where the money is shifting, then that's when you know podcasting really hit the big time. But in the meantime, what a lot of these acquisitions are doing is they are acquiring not just the software, but also the talent, the people that work at these places, as well as perhaps customers that are already using those platforms. So one more thing. Okay, this is a serious side note. Shout outs to the folks at Alexa and Audible. I'm sorry if I triggered your device. Lexi. Just a little fun fact that Alexa, they have in honor of Black History Month. They have, if you do have an Alexi, you can read The Radical King by Martin Luther King Jr. from Audible for free. I believe it's only free this month. So just wanted I had that in my notes, and so how could I ignore that? So that's all you have to do is say, Lexi, what's free from Audible? And she should say, in honor of Black History Month, you can stream The Radical King by Martin Luther King Jr. from Audible for free. That's what she should say. But you let me know. And if she doesn't say that, just ask her to stream The Radical King. Okay, so there was another acquisition that I need to tell you guys about. And I know for those of you not interested in podcasts, I'm going to make this really quick. A podcast company called Acast. They're based in Australia. They acquired a podcasting startup called Radio Public. And you may be familiar with Radio Public because that's where I have my website, The Anchor Show, over on Radio Public. And so this is a good thing for Radio Public. I'm glad they got acquired. Acast is also the host that you use if you use Patreon and you make a dedicated podcast for your patrons. It will be hosted on Acast. So Acast is doing some good stuff, and they are building their own little empire as well. All right, so now let's get back over into our topic of Twitter Spaces. Because Twitter Spaces is the competitor to Clubhouse. And I'll tell you, I've had some very good conversations in Twitter Spaces, and Twitter Spaces is only available on iOS, so you can't find it on the desktop, and you have to have an iPhone, and it doesn't even work on iPad. Like I had mentioned earlier, you can use iPads on Clubhouse. Your sound is kind of wonky, but you can't even use the iPad for Twitter Spaces. And I've had it's only rolled out to a very small group of folks. Like I'm not even sure it's up to 2,000. It might be less than that. But you'll see when you open up your mobile app, iOS, you'll see up at the top where the fleets are, you'll see Twitter, someone holding a Twitter space. And let's see if I can get you a look at that right now. Because there are some folks that are doing Twitter Spaces right now. Let's see if my phone will connect with my computer. Oh, maybe I need to tap it. And so yeah, it's coming through. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. It's coming. Okay, and let's see if I do it in preview mode. And so what I'm doing now is I'm getting up what's called the Air server. And the Air server is going to, right now it's just saying Air server. I wonder why. It's not doing what I wanted to do here. So there's always more than one way to skin a cat. And that's okay. If it doesn't want to act right, I'll just... Nope, I don't actually have the plug near me so I could plug the phone in. Isn't that disappointing? You are a great resource and cute too. Southside Unicorn. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to be flattered by that. But I'll just show you this way. You see at the top, there's these bubbles there. That's how you know that there's people that are in the spaces. Like, for example, Isa Kari has a space going, and Shoshana Kaliski has a space going. And when you join a Twitter space, I'm not sure why my Air server failed me that time, but I do have another way to connect. But I'm not going to bother with it. I got tons of screenshots I can share with you. And what's different about Twitter Spaces, as I mentioned to you when we were talking about Clubhouse, I said that you were able to, hang on, I see somebody had a nerve to come over here and give me a thumbs down. What's wrong with you? So I would love for everybody who's here now to give me a thumbs up, because that wasn't nice, whoever did that. At least you leave a comment and tell me why you gave me a thumbs down. Don't get mad because I can't give you a Clubhouse invite. I can't even get in Twitter Spaces. Now, what I've done is I've been a speaker. Thank you. Southside Unicorn gave me a thumbs up. But I want you to hit the like button. Hit the like button. Southside Unicorn. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Donna's laughing at me. And she also gave me a thumbs up. Thank you. Donna just being real. Okay. So, unlike Clubhouse, with Twitter Spaces, when you start up your space, you don't give it a title. So basically, your friends or your followers, when they see that you're live with a Twitter Space, and it's the same thing, it's ephemeral. You help me improve my speaker. Oh, good. I love hearing that. I love knowing that I help somebody, especially if it had anything to do with content, creating it or consuming it. Either way, that's great. So, Spreaker. Okay, you meant to say Spreaker. Good. I'm glad you clarified that because I was going to ask you if you meant to say Spreaker. and you were here when I said earlier that Spreaker was acquired by iHeartMedia. Okay. Oh, no. Somebody posted a screenshot. I got a little excited because it says the mic is yours, but that was somebody else posting a screenshot. Yeah, I didn't get access to it yet. I'm not sure why they won't give it to me. I guess they think I'm just going to go in there and talk about Twitter Spaces all the time, which they're probably right, and live streaming. So I think that I'm finding that they are, can you do Anchor on cell phone or only computer? Both. You can do Anchor on your and you'll see in my tutorials, you'll see that I'm talking about how to use the mobile app as well as how to use the desktop app. So that's why I gave you that tutorial playlist. You can see all that right there in that playlist, Donna. Okay? And even though some of my videos are a little older, so there may have been little updates to the interface, but it's all still the same. They just might something might be moved over, but you'll see it. It's not like you'll be totally lost. Like, hey, she said it was on the left and now it's on the right. No, it's not like that. You'll just in fact they did a rebrand. YS Book says, I started an animated web series. Do you have any suggestions in regards to social media? An animated web series. Have you ever uh, created GIFs? That's one of the things I found out from one of the fellows that I hung out with in a Twitter space. Now, we were following each other, but we never talked before. His name is Nicholas Morrow, as a matter of fact. And he's a graphic designer, artist, and he has been submitting some of his animations over to Giphy, GIPHY.com, and trying to make his name for a name for himself over on Giphy. So you might want to look into that. And Giphy also has a competitor. And Donna said, I will definitely watch your playlist. Okay, great, great. So that's a recommendation that I would have for you, because Giphy appeared. If you know, there's tons of social media sites where GIFs appear. Now, you're not going to get paid from that, okay? But you can get featured and you can get your name out there that way. And since you said you're doing an animated web series, I figure you already know how to make animations. So converting some of those into GIFs should be a no-brainer for you. As a matter of fact, because we were talking about Twitter Spaces, and I love the fact that I was able to meet someone over there. Um, and I will show you his page. You know what? I think I saved it. I'm about to type it in. Yep, I sure did. I saved it. So that I'll give you an example of what Nicholas has done over there. Periscope is shutting down at the end of March. Twitter made that announcement 2 months ago, month and a half ago. That's why people are migrating over to Haps, Donna, because Periscope is shutting down in a month and a half, or less than a month and a half. All right, so let's talk about Giphy real quick, and I'll share with you Nicholas's page, and you can see the gifts that he's made. So he focused like on making a lot for the holidays. And Southside Unicorn said, no loss. Donna's like, oh, wow. Well, Donna, I'm glad that you came to this broadcast, because I thought everybody knew Periscope was shutting down. But, I guess because I'm in the streaming world, I know these things, and I think that other people know it as well. But I'm glad that I got a chance to tell you. I'm going to agree to their little GDPR stuff. So here, just give you an example of, because look how many views he's got. 527.2 million views. Wow. And so I've used these GIFs on Instagram, because you can search. And I actually search for his name, because then that way it's easier for me to find him. But he spent a lot of time creating these GIFs. And, a couple times he's hit the home page. And so he's got some really cool ones here. In fact, you saw one earlier at the beginning of this broadcast when there's that hey. This is the one I used earlier when I was showing you guys my community tab. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Show you the community tab again and how I used that GIF to make that announcement about the HAPS and what's going on with HAPS. And let's see here. Got to get over to my channel and then my community tab. And then let me scroll up so you can see. So what I did was I got the little image from HAPS where it says earn $25, start broadcasting on HAPS. And then I uploaded it to my phone. Then I went into Instagram stories and I grabbed this hay. No, I take this back. I take that back. I have it on my computer. This hay, I downloaded this onto my computer. Okay. So that's how I got the hay. Because one thing about YouTube with these community pages, they won't let you upload a video to the community page. You could only upload a GIF, and it needs to be square. So you kind of got to jump through hoops in order to make the GIF. But I did. I jumped through all the hoops that I needed to jump through in order to make that GIF. And I made sure I used my new friend Nicholas's GIFs. I don't see how Giphy will lead people to the web series. Well, it's just like anything on social media. When people, when you become an influencer and people notice you, they click through to your website. That's how social media works. You have to do something to make yourself stand out in order for people to click through to your website. So, for example, now that I was telling you all about Nicholas, so now I'm going to follow him. I already followed him on Twitter, and I've actually already connected with him on Instagram. I don't think I followed him on Facebook yet, though. Let me see. Maybe I did. I'm not sure. But I didn't. So I'm going to like his page on Facebook now, too. And then what else can I do? Click on his website. Oops, it's not secure. You got to get HTTPS, Nicholas. I'll tell him next time I see him. But yep, you can, that's just how social media works. Unless you want to buy advertising, you don't just really come out and just tell people, come to my website. You have to do something. You have to offer some kind of value to people, make something that's useful. And then they are like, oh, I need to do more, or I want to support that person because they're always giving me helpful information, or they made me laugh, or they entertained me. And that's how that works. That's how social media works. Doesn't matter. It could be Giphy. I just use that as an example because it was fresh in my mind. It could be, you know, on Instagram. You could post clips of your animations from your web series on Instagram. You're on YouTube, so I'm assuming that you're posting your web series on Instagram or parts of it. If you're not, you should. Okay, on YouTube, Facebook. Sky's the limit. When it comes to social media, the only thing that holds you back is time. How much time do you have to invest in all that? Or you spend money and have somebody else do it. Like my daughter, she is an entrepreneur. She's a real estate investor, and she's got a VA who sends out her email newsletter. She's got someone here in Philly because she lives in LA who manages her properties. She's got somebody on her payroll to edit her YouTube videos and optimize them. So either you put yourself out there yourself or pay others to help do it. Doesn't mean you have to spend money on ads, but you do have to make investment of time. So hopefully that helps you. And honestly, I may not be the best person in the world to ask about an animated web series because I've never tried to promote one. I've promoted a lot of things on the internet, but never animated web series. So, but I still hope that you're from Philly. Okay, great. Awesome. Well, that's where I'm in Mount Airy. I am in Mount Airy. And what is your, let's find out, what is your animated web series about? You use Homestead for hosting. Hosting of what? Of your of a podcast or of a website? Let us know, Southside Unicorn. Let us know. Germantown. Well, you know Germantown is a hop, skip, and a jump from Mount Airy. In fact, when my daughter was here, was that her first apartment? I think that was her very first apartment. Yes, in fact, it was. Her one of her good girlfriend's mother owns property, and she's a landlord, and she rented Nicole this gorgeous apartment. It wasn't in the greatest of neighborhoods, but um, she had a backyard and a balcony off the back of the apartment. She had 2 floors. She had like 4 bedrooms, which of course she didn't need. She had a teeny tiny little kitchen because the apartment was like narrow. So her kitchen was small, but you could go upstairs. Oh, matter of fact, I'm sorry. She had 3 floors. She had 3 floors. One floor, it was nothing there but her clothes. She was younger. She's got a big walk-in closet now in that house that she has out in LA. But I have a web page that links all my social sites and offers my content there to protect against censoring. Oh, interesting. Yes, the animated series is based on a book series I wrote. The animation is on YouTube. Okay, but what is the book about? You still not. So you gotta get your elevator pitch down. YS Books. You gotta get your elevator pitch down because I don't know anything that will give me interested in your content because you haven't told me what it's about. You told me what it is. You told me where to find it, but you don't tell me what it is. I mean, you don't tell me what it's about. That's what I want to know. What are you talking about? Is it about politics? Is it about a little girl growing up in Germantown? Is it about prison reform? That's what's going to get me interested. Not so much with your kind or make me say, okay, I'm not really interested in that. But either way, I would still give you a shout out. And I'm glad that you are on Amazon. So you are, when it comes to uh, search engines, you're using the right search engines because you're on YouTube and you're on Amazon. So those are the places that you want to be, especially with animation and with a book. So yeah, you're doing real good. Don't fret too much about. Okay, well you didn't say it was fiction. Well, I guess I should assume if it's an animation that it's fiction, but I did not make that assumption. See, I just thought it was you created these animations, but it was based on something that was fiction. I mean, nonfiction. My characters have supernatural powers because of their bloodlines. All right. Okay, I am an influencer that speaks to the issues of the day with a black conservative tangent. Then you need to meet my friend, the Information Man. The Information Man show. He probably, not unless you guys would clash heads, you might, I'm not sure. But I do know that Information Man likes to talk about topics that are, for the black community. And sometimes those topics are controversial. So when you put the words black and conservative together, in my mind, you know, I believe in respect and in exchange. Okay, so I'm just going to type and I appeared on his show, and my girlfriend India appeared on his show as well. And we talked about tech. But most of the time, I would like it. Hook us up. Okay, well, what I need from you, All right, I have your Southside Unicorn. Let me see what else. Are you on what social media are you on? So I know like where I can DM, where we can date DM each other. What social are you on? Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Those are the two places. Or you could go over to my Facebook page and leave me a message through Messenger. You're on everything. Okay, well I need your handle. I guess it's Southside Unicorn, but man, don't make me look. Don't make me looking. Okay, so honestly, someone might think that this is off topic. No, none of this is off topic because my whole goal here is to get you guys thinking about creating content. And I typed in, oh, this has to be about you. Are you Ken White? Yeah, this is you. Same profile picture. Okay. I will, I'm not going to follow you because I don't know if I want to do that yet. But I am going to, oh, I can put it on my notes since I have my notes open. I can put that in my notes on Twitter. And the information man, I'll send you his, um, I will send you the information man's Twitter handle. And then you can just tell him that Eileen sent you and y'all can connect that way. Because when you say conservative, to me that means politics, and I'm not interested. And like I was getting ready to say about Information Man, and I've told him this. I as far as I'm concerned, he's my buddy. But I don't get into the controversial topics. You know, I just don't, it's just not my thing. They're there. I know they're there. I'm just not into it. So if he's talking about digital media stuff, I'll watch. But when he's talking about something like, for example, there was one that was like, did Biden break his promise, or did Obama, what did Obama do for black people? Something like that. Something like that. Don't quote me, y'all. Okay. I don't want to watch that. That's just not my thing. But hundreds of people was there watching, sitting on the edge of their seats. And so I know that that kind of content does well, especially here on YouTube. So, and but he doesn't cross the line. He's very respectful. He's very respectful, and so that's why I thought you two might get along. Okay, so yeah, so see what I mean? Y'all two might get along. And so, okay. Yes, all right. So, it's been over an hour. OMG, I'm just going to put one more plug in for Buy Me a Coffee. Buy me a coffee. So, anybody wants to buy me a coffee, and even if you're watching this in the replay, um, go ahead and go to eileen.link/coffee and hook it up for a sister. And I do appreciate you all for spending your time with me this afternoon, evening, whatever the time is there in your time zone. Let's see if I have just a little lovable goodness, treat of lovable goodness to share with you. But let me see what I can do here. Okay. Yeah, this gotta make you smile. There's my little Joseph. And I don't know why that one, oh, here goes another one. There's my little Joseph. My grandbaby, isn't he the cutest thing you ever seen? Southside Unicorn says, thank you for always teaching good tech, even if I use it for oh, I want you guys to have a voice. That's the reason why I do teach tech, is because just because I don't, um, Joseph, honey, I've got to put you down now, baby. Okay. Love you, baby. Just because I don't talk about that stuff, I want you guys to talk about it. If that's something that you're passionate about, if and you've studied this topic and you've looked at opposing points of views and you still stand your ground and you have this message that you want to get out so that people can understand your point of view, that's my goal. This is what I want. I want you guys, because everybody can't think like me. Just like I'm sure you know, everybody can't think like you, even though you may have a different approach to how you deliver your content. But I know that folks don't think like me. And Donna loves my pictures of Joseph. My first and only grandbaby. Yes, and I was there. I was the first person in the family, because the first it was the doctor held him, and then the nurse held him, and then the nurse wiped some of that grimy stuff off of him, and then she handed him to me. Yes. Because my daughter, she had to have, when they cut you open, not hysterectomy, they call that stuff when they, you know. So she had to get sewed up. So while she was getting sewed back up, I was holding my little Joseph. So there you go. Yep, yep. C-section. Thank you. Because I don't know why I was thinking hysterectomy. She didn't have that. Oh, yep. So she had to have that. So I was blessed with being the first person in the family to hold him, and he still lights up on FaceTime. Now, hopefully I'll be going out there to see him in a month or so. And when I go see him, I hope he don't start like whining like I want my mom. No, boy, don't you even try it. But you know how y'all know how kids are. They think they grown sometimes, and they should have their way. Hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I start my broadcast, I always say hello, beautiful people. And if you've never heard my philosophy about why, well, actually, you just did. As I was telling Southside Unicorn, it's one of the reasons why I do what I do, is because I want you to have that confidence and have uh, all the tech knowledge to know what buttons to push so you can get your message out. That's my goal. And so, I know that today my work is done because I had a couple people who came over, and now Donna's going to get her podcast going with Anchor. And, even if you decide not to use Anchor, Donna, if you ever have questions about any of the other platforms like Spreaker, let me know because I got tutorials on that as well, and Podbean as well. That's another one. I want to help. So you guys see with all the tutorials I've done on StreamYard, on Ecamm Live, all the podcasting apps. My friend James Pruitt is here. Hey James, I'm so sorry that I'm shutting things down now. And Southside Unicorn loves Spreaker. So that's great. So you guys know that this is my goal. My goal is to help you on your content creation journey. And so with that, like I said, I start by saying hello, beautiful people, and I close by saying stay beautiful.